My business is a lot like any other business, and it's teamwork. It's you know, when you go out there this afternoon, you're going to see the horse and the jockey out there during the course of the race. But it's teamwork. It's just like any other business. A lot of moving parts, you know, that make it work. And if somebody doesn't do their job, the gears get kind of jammed. And it starts back in the stables. The groom probably spends the most time with these horses. The horses are in the stall 23 out of 24 hours a day. They're very well cared for, believe me, but the only place to keep them is in the stalls, and they get out the 1 hour. They go to the racetrack in the morning and exercise for about 35 or 40 minutes, and then they're brought back and washed and bathed and cooled out, and they're put back in their stall. And the groom is with them most of this time, probably 8 or 10 hours a day. And it's his job to tell the trainer how the horse is feeling and doing and living. They take their temperature every morning, so they know exactly, you know, if they're normal or not. A horse's temperature is slightly higher than a human being's temperature, so usually 100 is normal. They'll tell the trainer if the horse ate his feed or not. They'll feed him at 4 o'clock in the morning. And a good barometer, they're kind of like babies. You know, if they're eating well and they're sleeping well, then they're usually doing well. And they can't talk to us, so those are the ways that we figure it out. And the groom is responsible for telling the trainer, all right, he ate his food last night, he's normal, he's feeling well. Then you get to the exercise rider. He's the one, when a jockey doesn't come out and work the horse out, he's the one that's on him most every day. And it's his job to tell the trainer how he's feeling physically when he gets on the racetrack. Is his stride the same way as it normally is? Was he nervous this morning? Was he coughing once he got out to the track? If he's not right, if he's physically not 100%, what's the problem? Where's the problem? Is it in the front legs? Is it in the back legs? Is it low? Is it high? And the exercise rider knows these horses because they're on them every day. And it's his job to tell the trainer what's up with the horse, if anything, so that the trainer can pick out the race for these horses. Now, once the trainer's picked out the race for these horses, and he's got them in, it comes race day, it's time to come in the paddock and talk to the jock. Now, I've told you that I'm a student of strategy, and I know everything that I could possibly know when I walk in that paddock. So I was the kind of guy, I didn't want a lot of strategy, although they like to give it, believe me. So when I walk in there, what I want to know is I want to know the idiosyncrasies of this horse. Things I cannot determine from the racing form or the videos that I've studied, such as, when the gates open, is his first step slow or fast? Is it his best step or his worst step? Is he quick into stride? Does he accelerate? When you're going through the course of the race, does he accelerate quickly? If there's a hole there, is it going to take him a while to get that motor running, or is he one of these horses that has a quick turn of foot and can get to a hole instantaneously? Does he like the inside or outside? Horses are just like human beings a lot of the times. They can be very timid on the inside. You don't want a horse running up into a hole that's there and only there for a split second if he doesn't want to go through it, because he'll stick his toes in the ground and he'll put you in a bad position. Does the horse not like to be hit? I mean, the whip is overused in my opinion. You know, there's some horses that like it and you respond to it a little bit. Other horses, you pop them one time and that's really all they need. So those are the kind of things I need to know. And when I'm not given that information, when the communication of the team breaks down, it's a recipe for disaster. Just like any other business, if there's no communication, you're probably not going to be successful. I'll give you an example. It was right here at Saratoga. And I'm not going to mention the name of the trainer. He's one of the leading trainers in New York. It was about 5 or 6 years ago. I walked into the paddock, and I had already studied the race, so I knew it was a 7-furlong race, and I knew the horse came from 6 or 7 lengths behind. So I asked the trainer, I said, what can you tell me about this horse? He said, well, Jer, he said, comes from behind, he's a nice horse to ride, no bad habits really. He said, just ride him like you want to. Because he knew I studied the form. I said, that's it? That's it. All right. So I went out and warmed the horse up. We got in the starting gate. We broke. And sure enough, he settled 6 or 7 lengths behind, just like I thought he would, and just like the trainer had told me he would. And in the preparation for the race, I knew that there was probably 1 or 2 horses to beat, but the one I feared the most had the speed of the race, and he would probably be on the lead, and that's where he was. So as we moved down the back side and around the far turn, I looked up and I said, you know what, I need to make up a couple of lengths. I need to close the gap a little bit. So I asked my horse, I chirped to him a little bit, and sure enough, he made up 2 lengths, just like that. And as we turned for home, I looked up, and I was about 4 lengths behind now, and And that horse I had feared was still on an easy lead. And so I asked my horse for a little bit more, and I reached back and popped him with a whip, and he was quick. I mean, he made up 2 more lengths in about 1/5 of a second. Now I'm only a length and a half or 2 lengths behind this horse, and we're in the middle of the stretch, and I asked my horse for a little bit more, and sure enough, I get up right to the other horse's head. And we passed the 8th pole, and we only have about 100 yards left in the race, and my horse quickly opened up a length of daylight on the other horse. As soon as he did that, my horse's ears went up, his head went up, and he stopped running. He went from 5th gear to 2nd gear in like 2 strides. I said, oh, and I knew what he was doing. Horses, sometimes when they go by their target, their last horse, they ease themselves up. And I knew exactly what he was doing. And I hit him a couple more times, didn't do any good. And now this other horse is coming back. Horse that I knew I had beat easily was coming back on me, and the wire's coming, and here comes this horse. And it's going to be about the same time, and sure enough, we hit the wire, and the other horse beats me by about that far. I was pissed. I had become a perfectionist, and to a fault. And I expected everybody else around me to be the same way, which is an unrealistic expectation. But in the heat of the battle, I was mad about this. So we eased up, the horses slowed down, then we came back to unsaddle. And the trainer wasn't there, the assistant was there, and I got off, and I'm sure I didn't say it as nicely as I'm going to say it to you, but I said, did any jockey that ever rode this horse before tell you that he pulls himself up, he stops running when he goes by the last horse? Oh, he didn't tell you that? I said, no, he didn't tell me that, and that's not a good thing to leave out. Those are the kind of things I need to know. It was a breakdown in communication, and of course, it cost us a race. But, you know, when I talk to people from different walks of life, you know, even though my business is so much different, to win and to be successful, it's a lot of the same things. There's a lot of people that make it go and a lot of moving parts, and the communication has to be there on every level, or we're not going to be successful. And I'm sure it's the same in your business. I have begun every day of my life the same way, with a commitment to excellence, to work as hard as I could to fulfill my potential and keep my focus, to be the best in whatever I could be. Not only did I become a Hall of Fame jockey, but I became a better father, a better husband, just a better human being. I went from making $458 in a week to making more money than any jockey in the history of racing worldwide. Including my foreign earnings, I've made over $300 million. And I'm in the Hall of Fame. I won 7 Eclipse Awards, which in our profession, it's like the Academy Award, the MVP, if you will. Every year they vote on that. I won 7 of them, more than any rider in the history of racing. I won countless stakes all over the world. I mean, I went from somebody that should have been scared to put me on their horse to a guy that they would call up in a heartbeat to ride the best horse they ever owned. But how did I do it? Well, I remember what my dad told me. If I wanted something bad enough, and I was willing to work hard enough for it, then I could achieve it. And I remember that as I got sober and my mind cleared and the fog lifted, I thought to myself, how in the world am I going to bring myself up from the depths I had gone to be, and I didn't know I was going to be all I ended up being. I just wanted to start winning races again. But I wanted to be successful, and I wanted to be somebody that not only other people could admire, but that I could admire myself, that I could get my self-respect back. So I went to work. Here's the bottom line. If you want something bad enough, and you're willing to work hard enough to get it, then you'll get it. And I remember what my father told me. And, you know, he took it well. He never gave up. He was starting on almost every team he was ever on. And it was tough because there in Florida, it might be like this all over the country, but it seemed like there was 5, 6 coaches on every team. You know, kid had his dad, was a coach. He kind of got the position he wanted. I couldn't be there. So, you know, Justin kind of took what was left over. But, you know, I said, you go out there and you suit up and you show up and you play, and, you know, don't tell me about it. Just show me what you can do and show the coach what you can do. And I tried to instill that into him the way my father instilled it to me, that if you want something bad enough and you're willing to work hard enough to get it, then you'll get it. And if you have a passion for it, then you have a chance to be truly great. And if any of you out there have children or have an influence over children or around children, I think it's so important to remember that it's not the size of the kid with the dreams. It's the size of the dream in the kid. And if you want something bad enough, and we can apply this to all of our lives, if you want something bad enough and you're willing to work for it, then you can achieve it. And just as my dreams came true, so can everybody else's. And it might not be on the first Saturday in May in Louisville, Kentucky, but you can find your winner's circle too.